will cry for you tonight. What's up, y'all? Whew. On this breezy Sunday afternoon, this is like 11:55, just before lunch. Some of you may be headed to a Sunday fun day, Neo Soul Sunday, or just out for brunch with a little people. Most of the time, why my shades crooked? Get it together here. But anyway, it's your man Rico the Opinionist. I'm just here to share a few thoughts. I'll be doing quite a few videos today. I'm gonna let y'all come on up in here. I'm not gonna speak really quickly. I'm gonna take my time and let these words flow, because you listen to it. You listen to the playback of this video at your leisure. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. By the way, like, share, and subscribe to this blossoming YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist. Of course, I can be heard on Facebook, Rico the Opinionist, Twitter, Rico the Opinionist, Instagram, Rico the Opinionist, OPINIONIST as well. Y'all know that Instagram, I'm sorry, that Cash App is also Rico the OPINIONIST, Rico the Opinionist. What's up, Robert? And then PayPal too. I'm still working on that Zelle though, but the PayPal and definitely the Cash App, Rico the Opinionist. Whatever, if the spirit moves you, let it groove you. Oh, the love come down up. If you believe in what I'm saying, let's get it on. Ooh, hit that Cash App, that PayPal, baby. This minute, oh yeah. Let's get it on. Y'all like how I transition that? Shout out to Marvin Gaye, by the way. All right, y'all. Everybody who's not on, you just have to listen to the playback. Look, I want to talk about this interview that undisputed, all around welterweight, lightweight, he got about 4 belts on his arms. That is Terence Crawford, and people who've come to know him by his nickname Bud, Terence Bud Crawford. And who else is this? Hey, Miss Collins, Kenyatta, Grand fan, what's good? And so it came across my tagline by way of YouTube. And shout out to this sister on Pink Book Lessons. I don't listen to too many women on social media. I have a very short list when it comes to social commentary. Now, I've listened to some women when it comes like celebrity, as they say, reporting or gossip. Empress, what's her name? Damn. I don't listen to Lovely T. She's a little bit dramatic, I guess. But there's one particular one, Empress, impressive channel, her. But when it comes to what's going on with black people or just commentary, I listen to sisters like Shay Sade, is C-H-E-Z, Sade, S-C-H-A-R-D-E, Shay Sade. I like Erica Lachey. She hits some bullet points every once in a while. Erica Lachey, Shay Sade, Pink Book Lessons, and this sister Crimson Tides. These are only sisters I listen to if I want to get some real unbiased, balanced perspectives. Because I don't do feminist foolishness. I hate black men rhetoric. I don't even do I hate black women rhetoric either. So of course, anybody want to know, I don't do that either. So there's only a few men that I listen to on the regular when I want real content talking about our people and globally and the world. So I listen to these particular channels: Professor Black Truth, TD Hip Hop, this brother Torian Rain, Taurean Reigen, Torian Rain. I think he has Torian Rain Unloaded. Those are main three, but I'll skip around when I want to hear some Manosphere stuff. Shout out to Obsidian Radio. And when I can tolerate all the histrionics, I'll listen to the Black Authority, but not too much. And of course, O'Shea Duke Jackson. I got a few that I listen to. Of course, and get into some more things that uplifting brothers. Shout out to Dennis Sperling, Dr. Ron Neal, the Green Gorilla PhD with the G with the PhD, people like that. I can go on, but I go back and forth, and when I want to hear some unadulterated, humorous, but the truth, Tom Likas. I'll go to his YouTube channels, Tom Likas and Likas 101. Okay, I said all that to say that, and the shout out to Pink Book Lessons I went to her page and saw, she did a nice little chunk of the interview that Terence Crawford recently did with Gayle King and her morning show with the brother and the Caucasian dude on there. But it was so amazing to watch that interview, and it really hits home to what I've always spoken about as a mental health person, as a social worker, and as a black male advocate myself. And I'm on TikTok, y'all. It's called Your Master Social Worker, and as well as I have a YouTube channel, Your Master Social Worker. I'm developing those, so just to let you know, if you want to hear my mental health, my social work stuff, those are the two social media platforms that I've chosen to dedicate strictly to that. And it almost brought tears to my eyes. I knew this was something I had to talk about when I listened to that interview. And I put the link in this description box to Pink Book Lessons report on it. She does a good job. And you can also find the original interview on CBS this morning with Terence Crawford. It's probably on YouTube, Terence Crawford interview on CBS this morning. But I liked her commentary with it. And so I'm going to give my commentary on what I saw. And, it really speaks to the mindset of so many black males today who are raised in war zones or raised in single mother households. And I know it's a lot of people who hate it when I get on single mothers. And I'm going to keep putting the largest foot that I have in single mothers' asses, as well as those young women who, before they choose to become single mothers. Because you cannot convince me that single motherhood is not a choice, particularly in the 21st century. I understand that during the 1700s, 1800s, and early 1900s, women across the races did not have control of their bodies. There was no such thing as birth control. I think maybe in the 50s or something, they developed a condom. But as far as all these forms of birth control that women have today, they choose and become single mothers. And we've documented it. They're choosing it. Depends on how cute he is, or if he has hazel eyes or hazel eyes or curly hair, or is he tall, he mixed or light skin or white or whatever, or if he has money. And women have always done this. They instead of having babies based on having a family structure with a husband and the proliferation of their generations of their race, they have it based on hypergamy standards. And that is, who's the highest bidder, who has the most material wealth or monetary wealth. And that's why you have so many children who are born with the feeling of not being wanted or unloved. Even when they get here, they're not loved and cared for, like as if they were born by human beings. And Terence Crawford's upbringing is a pure example of what I'm talking about. And of course, for all of you want to yell, well, Rico, not all single mothers. Y'all know I can give no fucks about that statement. Because when anything is done out of order, against nature, there is a level of chaos. Well, Rico, how do you know this? I was born to a teenage single mother, 19, 20 years old. it was chaos in my upbringing, and I didn't like it. My mother was sweet, but she only had the information that she could have at 18, 19, unmarried. Got it? There's married couples and the kids don't come out that great, but look, let's compare the percentages to normal structured households where the man is the leader of the home and you have the wife who's educated and a nurturer. Let me know the statistic as opposed to a woman by herself raising 6 kids, 7 kids, or 4 kids by 5 different baby daddies, 3 kids by 4 different baby daddies. Let me know the statistics of the success rate. They don't have no statistics on the probability of a child going to jail, the probability of a child growing up poor, a probability of a child growing up with mental and emotional issues as relates to those children born and raised in balanced 2-parent households, mother and father. Those statistics are mainly reserved for those who are born at a disadvantage called single motherhood. And the debate about, the fathers leaving their families. I don't get into that because that's stupid. That's not a family. You getting pregnant by somebody because you having sex, that's not a family. You getting pregnant by somebody you meet after the club, or you met at homecoming, or you under the bleachers at the football game in high school, that's not a family, heifer. You were a knockoff. And you decided to get pregnant as a knockoff. And then want to hold the guy responsible for something you chose to do. Well, they shouldn't be sticking their raw penis in girls. Last time I checked, I know for me, I never got any coochie without permission. So in order for her to get between her legs, she has to get full permission. In order for him to get between her legs without a condom, she had to get full permission. So please move on with that stupid ass logic. Remember, y'all empowered. Y'all independent, you're strong. You want equality. But this is what equality looks and sounds like. Take responsibility for your goddamn behavior. But in the video, y'all will notice that, of course, his mother is still a bitter old broad. Wait a minute, let me be easy. Because, again, Terence Crawfords is one of those cats you'll mess around and run into somewhere, and I do not need those hands. So I'm going to be gentle. But his mother was not a nice human being. And she talked about, his father left us and went on, so, I just did the best I could. Whenever you hear a mother say, I did the best I could, let you know that she was a trash-ass mother. Because no one who takes responsibility for all that goes on when she's the main caregiver, no one who takes responsibility when things go, who does not take responsibility when things go wrong, she's a trash mother. A real mature mother will take responsibility for when things are going terrible, as well as take the credit if the kid just happened to come out and be about shit or make something of him or herself. And it's interesting that we applaud single motherhood when the child grows up to become a senator, a money-earning athlete, rapper, entertainer. Hold on a second. Or when the child grows up to be somebody, then they take all the credit. But when he's a gang member, a thug, or nothing, or she's a pregnant, thought teen mom 3 times over, and she's stripping and all that. Well, her father wasn't in her life. His daddy left us. No, we ain't trying to hear all that. Take all the credit, help. Terence Crawford's mother thought she did him a solid when he mentioned that she never showed him any love, and she said out of her mouth 2 things that were very troublesome. Yeah, I was trying to make a man out of him. Yeah, I pay the kids in the neighborhood $10, $10 to anybody if you think you can whoop my son. And so her little boy, 8, 10, 11 years old, and probably teenage, 6, 7, 8, 11 years old, had to literally fight people. He didn't know that his mama was promoting fights in the 2nd and 3rd grade and paying people to fight him. the hell kind of life is that? Where is the nurturing and development of full development of a child when he has to spend his life up not only to survive your own emotional tyranny, but he has to literally fight his way through 10, 11, 12, 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old because his own mama paying people to fight him. Instead of just putting her son in karate, jiu-jitsu, or boxing, you paid neighborhood folks the same $10 that probably could have got him some formal training instead of you emotionally abusing this boy. And then, second thing is this monster said, yeah, no, I didn't hug him. I ain't want him hugging me. Listen, this is how y'all praise moms. You know, you only get one mama. You know, but it's interesting. They never tell children you only get one daddy. I don't care what he said to you, what he done to you, you only get one daddy. They never say that. So, this heifer said, I don't want nobody, I don't like nobody touching me. I don't want nobody hugging all on me, kissing me. Well, hell, did nobody hug and kiss on me? Something to that effect. And so the whole thing about hurt people, that is true. As religious folks would say, passing down generational curses. Psychologically speaking, you're passing on what you've been taught. It's unfortunate. There's so many black children, and we're talking about black boys, because this is a young black man who has a girlfriend and 6 children, and they're still together, but they never married. Something about that. He doesn't have to, I guess. You know, y'all can debate that. But, George Munger, what's up? I'm on YouTube. What's up, George? George asked me, when am I doing a podcast? This is part of the podcast. I'm going to upload to my YouTube channel. You mean like get that, those cool sponsorship through iHeart and all that? My content, white corporate is not going to sponsor me a podcast, so I'll have to, you know, get my own mic and all that. But right now, George, and I appreciate you, young brother, it'll be on my YouTube channel. When I get up to 1,500, up to, I think, 1,000 to 1,500 subscribers, then I'll start going live and treat my YouTube channel as my podcast. But right now, I just do commentary and I upload it. But I'm getting there. I appreciate your question, man. And so, like, share, go and subscribe to Rico The Opinionist, man. That'll get me closer to that 1,500 that I need. And share it for me, because I need also, I think, 4,000 hours of viewership. I'm up to like 3,000 something now. Something like that. In order to qualify, you know, to get that monetization, you hear me? But I'm always open to be invited on podcasts. If you want to hear my thoughts about stuff. And interviews and all that kind of cool stuff. Who's this? I bet you $100 to a penny we can get sponsorship. That'd be awesome. Are you soliciting? Are you trying to like send an application to be Rico's agent around here, George? I know, man, I've known you since you was 18 years old. So don't play, little bro. You're a little hustler. Came out hustling at 16. So I get it. I understand. Y'all hear it live, folks. Young brother trying to get a client around here. Don't tell you can't have that much of a percentage either, George. No, hell, I need to make a living too. And I own my own content. All my content. But anyway, let me go back. And so, you know, I thought it was awful. She said, hey, I didn't get hugged. I don't like that. You know, I've heard moms say that. I heard a mom say this years ago, and I thought it was weird, but it's very telling. You know, she said that when her daughters would try to hug on her when she was young, when they were little, she's like, don't hug her, don't touch on me. I don't like all that touching and all. You know, and I have to ask, what happened to you as a little girl, as a teenager, before you had the children, that even the touch of your own child made you itch, made you uncomfortable? What's going on? Because that was the weirdest thing for me to hear from a mom of daughters. I don't like all that touching on me. And luckily for me, when my single mom grew up, I wasn't deprived of that. My mother allowed my brother, my two sisters to hug on her, lay on her, comb her hair, do all kinds of stuff. And that's why at 54 years old, whenever I go home to Memphis to visit, I still lay in the bed with her and watch TV and talk. My brother does the same thing. So, single motherhood is not just a crime in itself, but also the emotionlessness of it all, the non-nurturing of it all. That is a crime. You know, these and then also adds credence to what I say. These people are having these children not for the sake of the children, having for themselves. You see a lot of teenage girls with these little babies. They want to make sure their hair curly, make sure the little girl hair long, so they show them as showcase, and then they start showing them off. And then when they get to be 5, 6, and 7, when they actually need raising and communicating with, they want to stick them somewhere. Somebody's daycare, somebody's somewhere away from them. They don't want to be around them anymore because they bring no more intrinsic value to them as a person. Selfishness. And the poor child is wondering like, damn, do my mom like me? My dad like me? But the nurturing is expected from the mother. Remember, we're not expecting dads to be this nurturing being, but they are, because they're human beings as well. And so I watched this interview. I'm telling y'all, tears welled up in my eyes. At some point, I had to stop watching it because, when it comes to children, my weakness is children and old people. Two people who can't help anything. They can't defend themselves. They can't fight off grown people. And old people, they can't defend themselves. They can't fight off young, strong people. They can't fight off, and especially when their mind is growing feeble as well. Those are my two protected classes that I only recognize. I don't recognize these other weird ass protected classes. Children, babies, children, and old people. You got the disabled in there as well, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And so as I had to take pause in the video because his story is so familiar with so many black boys growing up poor, growing up in the ghetto, and then you got poor and ghetto-minded parents. And his mama's awful. His dad told him that he's going to be something great one day. He's going to be rich. He's going to be this. And his mom told him, and he says in the interview that he wasn't going to be shit. And she admitted to it. But now all of a sudden when he's winning, she hugging him. Shout out to Pink Book Lessons. She can hug him now. She can cheer. I'm telling you, these people are sick out here. And bless his heart. He said, things were done to my mama. And I understand that. So I love her. And maybe I'm so petty or maybe I'm so unforgiving. I don't know what it is. But I don't like letting people off the hook without them redeeming themselves to not only to God, but to the child. I don't like that. Mamas get to get a pass for being horrific. They get to be a pass for being just completely fucking disgusting. Violent, sexually inappropriate, parentally disregarding. They get to be awful. And they still get these passes. I don't like that. And fathers can't get these passes. And I don't like that. Be forgiven because of her gender. But he's held completely accountable for every DNA, every cell, every mitochondria, cell, everything about him as a man. He's held to that standard. And I don't like it. And so when I listened to Terence Bud Crawford speak about his mother, no, I didn't expect him to cuss her out and get all crazy and all that because, he's an adult. He has his own family. And we look at his pictures. He really showers nurturing and love on his children as well as on his girlfriend. And that seemed to have had the opposite effect because sometimes that bad training that he received from his mother could go on. He could have been a ruthless, rootin' tootin', ruthless fella out here. And not like women. Couldn't stand the thought of reproducing. None of that. Being in a relationship. He could have been that guy, but he chose to like, hey, I'm not gonna do to my children what was done to me. And I think that was my mom's mantra too. I'm not gonna do to my children what was done to me. Probably why she was so nurturing and so loving to us and not violent. You know, yeah, she whipped us and stuff, but she wasn't angry and enraged. You know how a lot of these singers, ooh, get out of my face, get off my fucking nerves, get away from me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Them single moms that cuss out their kids in the Dollar Tree. They talk real crazy to the kids after school, beat their kids in front of the teacher and all that. My mom didn't play that. My mom didn't do that. You know. I'm sure a lot of other moms didn't do that either, but however, his mom was awful. And then they'll say, well, you know, and it's funny how, I don't know, I'm gonna make sure I say this right. His mom was awful. And they said, well, he turned out to be, you know, look what he is. Because of her, he turned out to be this great. But let me tell y'all one fucking thing. Or ask y'all a question. If those of you have that attitude, if she didn't do that, he wouldn't be the great person that he is today. All right. How come y'all don't give Ike Turner that credit? Because if he didn't beat Tina ass and he didn't torture her and hold her hostage the way y'all claim and the way she says he did to her, how come y'all don't say, well, if Ike hadn't beat her ass, if he hadn't broken her jaw, he hadn't, you know, mistreated her, she wouldn't be the queen of rock and roll today. You see how hypocritical that is? Some people actually giving this woman sympathy. I want to wish therapy on her, at least 6 months with a psychiatrist. And then another 6 months with a licensed clinical social worker or LPC. Because that lady's out of there. And Terence said, you know, love stuff happened to her you know, I love her. I get it. You know what that's referred to? Terence Bud Crawford and anyone else who feel this way about your horrible moms who never redeemed themselves or asked for repentance from God and you. That's called Stockholm Syndrome. Google it. When you fall in love with your torturer, you be with them so long that you get trained to almost like look at them in a humane way. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. A lot of black children suffer with Stockholm Syndrome. There's so much, they're afraid to acknowledge the rage and the anger and the resentments that they have against their mother. But they do behave passive aggressively. But they don't want to flat out because of the narrative around moms. If you're a black man, you say, I hate my mother. What a bitch. She's disgusting. You will be shut down. If you're a daughter that says that, well, a lot of women will say, I understand, because me and my mom, we didn't see eye to eye. We bumped heads when I was a teenager. But when it comes to sons hating their mothers, oh, wait a minute now. Well, she fed you. She clothed you. No, all kinds of rationales and justifications. And so he doesn't feel free enough to say out loud his mother was horrible. And who's to say he wouldn't become this great boxer, this champion athlete, if she just put him in boxing? I'll tell you, the logic of it all, right? But she enacted her own self-hatred, her own hurt on this boy. Robert Lee says, that love would disappear when she passed. He has a fear. Yeah, I'm assuming he may be the main one crying at the funeral. Because in his mind, he probably been taught that that's the right thing to do. But I teach, hey, everyone deserves their emotional day in court. And if you're listening, Terence Bud Crawford, bro, it's okay. You know, he'll probably say to me, man, I ain't got past that. How? You went to therapy? Because a lot of us do this self-therapy. Well, you know, I just went past it. No, what you did was what so many people do. Now I'm going to put on my social work clinical hat. What you do is you make a decision. I can't kill her. I can't cuss her out because people look at me like I'm bad. So what I'll do is just kind of almost go along to get along. Because I want people to pat me on the back. I don't want nobody to judge me because I have legitimate resentments. I have legitimate feelings that I feel that are not so positive towards my mom. And young black boys have that drummed into them at 2 years old. So when they get to be teenage boys, even when they're thugging and being gang members and rapping, become rappers and all this negative stuff, but they always say, man, I want to thank God, man, I want to thank my mama. And that's awful. And that's why when I looked at that video, I was like, man, so many black boys who would love the crowd, so many grown black men would love to talk about it. And you know what? Y'all can talk about it with me. Hit me up. Y'all can talk about it with me. I'm not going to bust your head with the fee payment. You know, I have an hourly rate consultation, you know. You can talk to it with me. If anybody would like to do an interview on my social work channel about your upbringing with your mom, if it wasn't so positive, but you were afraid to say it out loud, let's do this. Hit me up. We can go on my social work channel. We can have this conversation. A little interview, 30 minutes, or however long you want to talk. Because I don't like, I have a problem with these women being given a pass. Now, if she's properly gone through therapy and she's not only begged forgiveness from God, but most importantly, to that child, got on her knees and begged for forgiveness, how she emotionally, mentally, or psychologically, for the umbrella of it all, mistreated, and mommy dearest, and Antoine Fisher, even female Ike Turner, her son, you know, and begged for his forgiveness. Not only that, but changed her behavior. You know, then I can see you, you know, having a real relationship. And a lot of children, regardless of race, but I'm talking to black people here, a lot of black daughters and black sons don't have actual real relationship with their mothers. And you say, Rico, why you keep talking about mom? Because that's all that's pushed in the black race. Mothers, they don't push dads. They act like statistics on dads don't even exist unless they're negative. So I'm talking about these black moms out here. They know they half-ass. If you had your daughter when you was in high school, no money, no car, no nothing, no husband, no kind of sense, you trash. But if you had that one child and you stopped that, and you stopped that one child, and you went on about your life, you know, you made sure your child had your attention, that one child. And then when you got older, maybe, you know, 5 years later, or maybe, 7 years later, you got older, got into your mid-20s, and you got married, and you had more children. I can look past that. But you got 2, 3, 4, by 5, 4, 5, 6 baby daddies. No, you couldn't. It's too many children against one. Y'all know how much emotional space that's needed in order to even have one child? You got 2, 3, 4 by yourself as a single woman. Somebody's missing out. It never fails. And so what happens is these children have to go off on their own psychologically to create a reality that was supposed to be conducive to human existence. Because the people who were charged with bringing them here and charged with building their self-esteem and charging their sense of safety and charged with creating an environment that is conducive for a baby to grow up in, well, they've fallen off. And so children go off psychologically to themselves to try to create something that will serve as a supplement to what's not being given in their place of habitation. That is their household. Did y'all hear what I just said? And that's what they do. So we're going to have to do better. And his mom was awful. And so he is speaking the language, that's all he knows, Terence Bud Crawford. And I'm saying him, but there's many other black boys who grew up like that. They didn't end up economically, and I guess in society, you know, as relates to society, on a more positive end as Bud Crawford. A lot of them ended up in jail in jail, prison, a graveyard, a gang, or just out here addicted to drugs because of those inner turmoils that they didn't know how to address because it involves their mom. And we love to throw Jesus Christ. We love to throw church. We love to throw some kind of Negro tradition. Well, I don't care what she said. You don't talk bad to your mom. You don't speak up to her. You got 30 and 40-year-old men. When I hear 30 and 40 and 50-year-old men say, man, my mama come over here, man, I still get scared. That's a problem. You're still a child. You're a grown-ass man. You say when your mom walk in the room, man, I still get scared, man. I remember them ass whooping. You're a child. Because there are phases of growth. When I'm a child, I'm a child. When I'm a teenager, still a minor and a child. But as I grow up and growing into manhood, there should be no fear, no kind of anything to my mother. My mother never slapped my face. That's why I understand where a lot of these guys are coming from. I wasn't brutalized. My mother didn't publicly embarrass me. She didn't do any of that stuff to me nor my siblings. So we don't understand that. I know me and my brother don't. Well, we don't. We don't understand that. Slapping kids in the face, cussing them out in public. We didn't go through that. So, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Now, the people around me, well, that's a different story. My cousins, well, that's a different story. That's a different story. I can't speak to their experience, but I know mine. My mom didn't act like that. My mom wasn't embarrassing in the public. She didn't dress like a thought or hoochie mom and didn't behave as old Jezebel. I don't have those stories. My mom was always a lady. But nonetheless, still teenage single mom, grew up, used the resources that she had. And so that's how when people say, Rico, how you speaking so hard on single moms? Hell, I understand. I grew up in the shit. It's not that cool. It's disorganized chaos or organized chaos. And so I'm not going to stop talking about it because you can't shame me when I'm pushing facts. You can't shame me. You can't make me stop talking about this shit. I need more women to talk about it. I need more young boys like Bud Crawford who grew up under the harsh, heavy-handedness of hatred and self-hatred of moms to come out and talk about it. It's okay. So you don't get on TV presenting your Stockholm Syndrome. A lot of men can be mad because I'm saying this because they all in love with their moms. And I've seen some of y'all, the way y'all in pictures with y'all mamas, kissing them all on the jaw real hard and looking them lovingly into their eyes. Hey, you Oedipus sicko, what are you doing? That's your mother. Rubbing them all up and down their backs. That's your mom, weirdo. Some of you guys got some sick relationships or connections with y'all mother. I hug my mom. I probably pecked her on the cheek here and there. But some of the pictures and some of the behavior I see with y'all mama, I'm like, oh no, bro. Sure that's your mother? If some of y'all need to tell us that happened between y'all when y'all was little, when you were little. But anyway, y'all go check out that interview and you can get your own perspective. This is my perspective of what I saw. And all it does is reinforces the reality, the notion that these kind of moms are the reason that we have a lot of these young men today. And always remember when you're criticizing the behavior of a lot of these young men, especially if you're ladies out there, keep in mind that you raised them. In the last 50 years, it has been women who's been in complete control of children, and them children included boys. So a lot of these young women who are in their 20s and 30s and talking about these men here, they ain't real men. I don't know what's wrong. They don't want to be married. They don't want to do nothing. Well, guess who raised them? If you say dad was absent, guess who raised them? But they never say that. They're ready to point out what the problem is, but never where it came from. And these dudes are sitting around here. They're still sitting around here and letting women hit them and beat up on them and stab them and destroy their property You know, a lot of that's female-raised behavior too. Now, there's some guys out here who got the wrong idea of what manhood and masculinity is too. I've never heard of allowing a woman to cuss you out for 30 minutes, tear up your property, harm you physically because you, number one, lied to her because you cheated on her. That's okay because you're a man. And all this dumb crap about, well, you know, a real man will argue with a woman. All that shit goes over my head. I'm not going to argue, but she going to get a good pimp type cussing out. So I don't put myself in a situation with smart mouth females or loud or aggressive females. As a matter of fact, I could have been in a situation like that, but my understanding of how sick a lot of women, young women are, I didn't even go there. And she legitimately deserves some conversation from me that probably would have shut the club down. Or the little bar girl. I wouldn't have bought some hot wings last night. I'll tell y'all more about the place in the future. But yeah, it could happen in 2 minutes. These little chicks today, they 20s and early and mid 30s, they're terrible. Not all, but too many. These little, I don't know what you call them, hood, thottish, weave wearing, heavy makeup, size 14, 18 chicks. A lot of little husky ones. They just big and bulky, a lot of them. Don't look very masculine. I mean, feminine, very kind of hard exterior chicks. And I don't vibe, what's called jibe well when I'm in a group of women like that. I just don't. Ugh. I guess it come from me going to mixed clubs when I was a young man in Memphis, and my mid 20s into my 30s, my late 20s and my 30s, and maybe that's what it is. Because when I went to mixed club, I saw a bunch of feminine chicks of all races. Even black girls was in there was feminine. You know, Asians, Hispanics, white girls. So be around a lot of these old husky chicks now. Like, ew. But in the 90s, a lot of pretties. You know, a lot of sisters were gorgeous, feminine and natural. But that's a whole nother video. I'm just trying to create a space. Or no, the space is created for teenage. If you got a teenage son, or, you know, young black men, young brothers who are having problems, just need to talk to a master's level social worker, licensed as a licensed master's social worker in the state of Tennessee, or alcohol and drug counselor in the state of Texas, one who's been doing this close to 30 years. You know, regardless of my social politics, I do have a professional side. And I won't bust you in the heads with the fees, but yeah, send them my way and let's have a real conversation about what's going on with our young men. And especially if it's mama issues, I really want to talk to those guys. I don't change anybody's mind. What I do is help you to fill in the blanks. Because a lot of us are held hostage psychologically. Like we're supposed to, as young black males, as boys growing up in a mainly female-ran environment, we think we're supposed to be holding exclusively our money, mind, body, and soul to the female population. We'll fight and hurt and maim other men, other black men for women. And that's not healthy. That's not how it goes. You know, not how it's supposed to go. So I have the video in this description box from Pink Book Lessons, and if y'all want to go and find the original video on YouTube, you are free to do that as well. All I know is that whole interview almost brought me to tears. From emotions, I was angry, I was appalled, I was sad, I was even hurt for that young brother. You know, and because I paid attention to the cadence in his voice, his body movements. A lot of this kind of tough for black men, grown black men, to talk about their childhood with their mothers when they know in their soul and their DNA that it wasn't where it's supposed to be, but they don't want to make them look bad because. As Gayle King, y'all know, fooling around with Gayle King. She said, I'm going to preface this by saying, Terence, you and your mother in a great place right now. Y'all get along great and all that. No, she had to say that because I know every word out of his mouth that didn't appear to be positive for him. He had to make it sound as if it wasn't so bad. And I know that brother struggled through that interview because I saw it. You know, and I hate that black boys and black men have to be subjected to that type of hypnosis, even especially when it goes against them and their own humanity. No, I'm not promoting hate your mother. I'm promoting truth and how you feel about not just people who are not your mother, but your moms. Because it's easy. We got all the smoke for these fathers out here. We got videos and videos of little black boys sounding like little black teenage girls. If that mother lover can't pay no child support, his ass ain't no real man. You know, boys talking like this because that comes from his mother. And you don't never let a woman define what a man is. You always turn out almost sound RuPaulish, or sound like some simp or a slave or a kamikaze pilot. But the kamikaze died for an actual cause of freedom and the continuation of freedom for their people, the Japanese kamikazes. But they treat black boys like Negro kazis for women's egos and their pride and their so-called their messed up reputations. And I just came up with something. Negro kazi. Don't steal my word. What they raised is a bunch of Negro kazis, or some people might say nigger kazis. But Negro kazis is what these black females of single black mothers are raising. And they all diving face first into death situations. Long as she can keep living and keep her reputation and her feelings from being hurt. And keep the lie that she's an actual decent person going. Man, don't steal my word. Y'all heard me say it here, so it's already, it came out of my mouth. Rico the Opinionist. Nigger kazi or Negro kazi. Those are my words. Don't steal them. Y'all be cool. I'll talk to y'all later. Like, share, and subscribe. It's Rico the Opinionist. Talk to y'all later. Peace.